Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Bitcoin report for Friday, November the 5th, and starting with the crypto index here, the top 10. So it's weighted towards Bitcoin and Ethereum mostly. And even if you went and had a look at the CIX index, CIX.com, the top 100, it would still have the same pattern here in that wave 4 here, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Now, Bitcoin is lagging in all of this. Ethereum is moving into this count, but Bitcoin is still in this scenario. So they're kind of parting ways to a certain extent. So we need to be aware of that. But let's go in and have a look at Ethereum. So from the wave 2 low here, we can look all the way up to 4 here, then 1 and 2. And yesterday when we spoke, we were looking at this little area here. I think I need to make a little adjustment on that. And I want to take you into the tick chart for that. So let's just go back into the hourly chart. That will do the trick. So with wave 4 here, I can count 5 waves up here for 1 and back for 2 over here. And then here I can count 1 and 2 here and 3 here. So I'm looking at this being an A wave, a B wave and a C wave here for wave 4. And then looking for 5 little waves to the upside here for wave 3. So I don't think we're at wave 3 yet. That was my point, you know. Then wave 4 and then wave 5 into that space. If we take a look at that on the 100 ticks, so let's just bring in a bit more data. Plenty. So okay, wave 4, wave 1 and 2, that's all. We've been there, done that, it's all good. So little 5 waves up here for 1 and 2 and 1 here and ABC for 2 here. We started counting up here yesterday into 3, 4 and 5 for the third wave. So the A wave, the B wave and the C wave into this space as wave 4. So yeah, and then just starting this little journey to the upside here for this. So I guess maybe one thing to watch here, let's just imagine for a moment that we're actually right here and we start to move off into that space there. That's going to put the crypto market back into positive territory. So Bitcoin could also rally in that particular move here for this as well. So bear that in mind. Oh, it'd be interesting just to see if it does follow suit, you know. Yeah, so wave 3 and 4, you know, maybe this will go up to here as well. I'm not quite sure about that, but certainly taking out the top here for that. So all we can do at the end of the day is count our structure. So we'll just see how all this plays out within here. Then we'll have wave 4. Hopefully, we'll see a classic trading levels pattern here. So that means the arrival as wave 3 maybe, and then wave 4 coming back in 3 waves, and then wave 5 here, and then we can have our A and B and C wave coming into play here, which will make life nice and tidy and easy. But Bitcoin's not doing that. Bitcoin, as you know, is well, let's go and have a look. So we finished here. Yeah, I'll just tidy this back and put this back together there for a second. So yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's still Bitcoin's got this here, but it's all squashed up below the top here for this. So they're basically diverging in that. But we knew that on the ETH bit cross that that ETH would lead to the upside and is doing just that. So the timing of events is being skewed now, because it's nice when they're both, look, it makes life easy when everything's doing the same thing, isn't it? But that's just not the case. So let's pull this away. So with Bitcoin here, just on the daily chart, I don't need to go into a lot, but in a nutshell, the only way I could see them catching up to each other, we could say that, well, what about if Ethereum moves through here in 2 sessions, right? And then we say, well, you know, this is really out of sync here for this, you know. Then the way that they could come back into sync really quickly is simply by, I'll just copy that and put this wave 1 here. So it may be possible that we have wave 1 already there. So we'll just keep an eye on that. But in the meantime, I don't think that's the case. And the reason I don't think that's the case is because we've already got 3 waves here for that. So that means that that would need to be wave 2. All of this move here is look, it's just difficult to, it's not difficult to count. Well, it is difficult to count, but the reality is that you could count it in quite a few different ways. So if it continue, we know that, we know with Ethereum at the moment that Ethereum's going to push up here. Well, I don't know that, but according to Elliott, we should push up. The other thing about this too, just why we're here, is that the length of this wave 1 here, if I put it on the low of wave 2 there, we can see that this is longer here. So if this wave 3 was actually here, put there, then then this would make wave 4 here, and then wave 5 would need to be shorter here. So that means that all of these guys here would be down here in that instance. It wouldn't reach the 5,000 at that point. So I just thought I'd point that out, just something to keep an eye on anyway, so that's why I went back over that and just sort of, looking at it, and maybe I have got that wrong there, but what I can say is that wave 1 is longer than wave 3 if you've got that sitting there. Well, that's okay, but this wave here would need to be shorter, and we definitely wouldn't reach the 5,000 at that point. So yeah, but anyway, if this is going to move up here, then this is likely to follow at this point, isn't it? It's likely to sort of find its balance here and mosey on up at that point. But there's a good case for this to come down in terms of looking at this particular pattern here. But there's a good case for it moving up in line with the rest of the market. But sort of Bitcoin to a point is the market, and it needs. If it's rallying, well, then the other markets are going to be, moving with it in one way or another, some exceeding it, some following, all of that sort of stuff. So, yeah, just moving into this a little bit further. I'm not sure what I've done with this. Okay, so if this, let's just assume for a moment, and we talked about this yesterday, the 38.2% retracement level is about there somewhere, just below the 58,000. There's other great supports in here. 60,000 is good. 60,380 is a good support as well. So there's we'll look at a few things in there. There's a couple of things we can talk about that are worthwhile talking about. So if we have to label this correctly, then all of this, because that move there was in 3 waves, then we have to look at it as a WXY movement up there. And we could just label the whole thing a WXY as well. But it may not, like I said, with Ethereum, it still may just push up into this space. But like I said yesterday, if it does come down here, then we still got to go those 5 waves here, which is going to put this Bitcoin market lagging Ethereum, which is not the end of the world. But the good news is, no matter what happens, the thing is that this move here is in 3 waves, and it's confirmed as 3 waves because it nipped out the top here. So we know that this is a bullish corrective continuation pattern to the upside. I just don't know what's going on here. I can make guesses and things, but I don't know at the end of the day. And it's frustrating, it's a bit annoying, and all the rest of the other emotions that fly into it. One of the things that I do want to point out, though, is the 62 here. And I have mentioned this earlier, coming up into this number over here. And this number's important. 62, because really when we use the trading levels, we're using the Fibonacci sequence, overlaying it on the price here, so it's a price ratio. So when we get to 62, you could look at it as 61.8%, and I can see here that through this correction here, this is the balance point here, this is the balance line of this correction. So I'm also suggesting that if we get support on the 62 with a little classic trading levels pattern again, then we can go long from that point. Let's just assume that this WXY is incorrect and the market goes up. Well, where do we go long? Well, we go long on the 62, and we go there with a classic trading levels pattern, and obviously it would be like this. So if that's the 62,000, then the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, come back, and then you pick it up over this side. we'll take a closer look at that shortly. Let's go to the hourly chart in here. So if I had to count this down here, I just have to forget about. I could put the spike in here. I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in here and have 5 waves down here as an A wave, and then back for the B wave, and have the C wave finished here between 2 and 3, and have that low in place there, and just go straight up from there. I was looking at that on the 50 tick chart and whatnot. So I know that we can pop from that point. But how do I explain that? How do I explain the count to people in that regard? So it's sort of virtually impossible. One of the other things, and also too, here you can really see that the 62 coming into play here, this dotted line here. So if it does pop from that point, and you're a short-term trader, if that's the case, then you'll see a little classic trading levels pattern here, because the number 2 there is actually part of 60,000, which is also a fantastic support. I mean, I've been using 58 because it's just Fibonacci stuff, but the 60 here, then we've got group 1, so 1,000, 2,000 and 3,000. But this is the center point of all of this. Normally when you get this as a retested resistance here, and it has been tested and dropped and checked, so that means that in normal circumstances we'd be pulling down to here, down to the 60. There will be good support there. We could bounce off that and then move through. Like I said, the 38.2% retracement level is just a bit below the 58,000. So that's all possible. But if the 62 becomes the support, then you can go long from that point. I mean, if you're a hodler like myself, then I'm not really, I was going to chuck 10 or 20 in here, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to put, I'll just wait for this to finish. And then once the arrival, the reaction here, the first high above the level, and then the ABC pattern here. So this is where I'll be moving into over here for this. So I'll just be patient and wait at that point. But hey, there's a lot of people just trading it. So yeah, that's okay to trade those 5 waves up there. So I just put a 20 period, where is it? 20 period, a weighted moving average here. So just to try to sort of clear out some of the noise. And if we look at it, you know, an A wave, a B wave and a C wave here, then an A wave here, B wave and a C wave here. I mean, it's all a little bit choppy, but it does smooth it out a little bit, doesn't it? So it's still pointing down at this particular stage. Just helps smooth this out. This could be counted in many different ways, but at the end of the day, you're kind of left with you know, an A wave, a B wave and a C wave up to this particular point here, and you've got a corrective pattern here because you've got overlapping wave structures within here as well. So yeah, an A and a B and a C, and an A and a B and a C if you like. And then if you're looking at this as 5 waves down, I mean, you can look at it in different ways, as I mentioned. It's just a bit of a pain in the backside, really. But yeah, we can count this down as 1 here and 2 here, and then down as 1 and 2, and all of this down here as 3. You're going to get a bounce off this here. So yeah, all I can say for traders that want to go long is to be on the 62,000, and otherwise, we need to wait for this to come down, and we can do our buying at the 58 at that point. Well, we'll still need evidence of a move up and all the rest of it at that point. But yeah, for long-term holders, or you know, medium-term holders or whatever, this here is a bullish corrective pattern, and it's best labeled as a wave 4 at this stage. It's not good to put this as part of blue wave 2 here or anything like that because of this. Yeah. So just to recap a little bit, if I bring Ethereum back here, if you see Ethereum move up above this current high here, then you'll know that you're going into the 3rd wave at that point, going up into this wave 3 at that point. Okay, this wave 4 over here can go back over here. But yeah, I mean, this trend looks good. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a corrective pattern here. And this is an impulse wave, corrective, impulse wave, corrective, impulse. So it's not finished, you know, so it should lift up here. And now that it's finished doing all this, because it's been here for like how many days? 3 days or something here. And while it's been there for 3 days, and now it could be ready to go up now. So in the last 3 days, this has been, what's it been doing this in the last 3 days. So, yeah, you know, I've tried to get an impulse wave out of this, and it's possible we could go up for 1 and back for 2 like we did yesterday, and up for 1 and back for 2, because it hasn't taken out that low there. But we'll just see. We'll just see. Just looking at both sides. We're in the middle of a mess in this correction, but we know what it is. We know it's a mess. We know it's a correction. We know the market's still got further to go to the upside, but it doesn't really do anything for our longer term buying in any way whatsoever, because, you know, we've still got to get this classic trading levels pattern happening here, the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the ABC pattern, and then we can be, you know, we can be over here for that when in due course. So yeah, that's it. I don't have any good news, and I don't have any answers really for this to build on from yesterday. It's just more messy, but anyway, it'll be over soon. It's just a bad dream. Alrighty, cheers.